Give me a minute. Let me swallow. It's disrespectful. Sound imeze neza. Okay. I'll serve it half away just in case.
This is like he was ready like yesterday.
You?
Him.
Oh, he's always ready. Okay, so you ready?
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to the space where we talk about all things marriage, lifestyle, motherhood, and all the fun stuff. You can see the setup has changed. I have a chef in the house. Oh my God, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I have an incredible woman. She's a chef. She's a mother. She's a wife. What else? She's a lot of things. She's an author, guys. She's an author.
Yeah.
Like they actually asked her to bring a book, and
I forgot. So
she
sorry.
forgot. I usually let my guests introduce themselves. I don't know why this time.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, I could not be that disrespectful and host a chef on the channel and not have a meal and have a conversation over a meal. So yeah, welcome. Say hi to the people.
Hello everyone. Yeah. I hope we have a good time.
There you go. I hope we have a good time. Well, so far you have read the title of this video, and it's quite very, very sensitive, and I am really glad that Phiona, oh, you didn't say your name. Please.
Yeah, my name is Phiona, Phiona Ninsiima, and I'm a mother of two.
Yeah. Yanze kuvuga chef, njenda bishimangira.
Today I'm not wearing the chef.
Yeah, today she's not wearing the gown. Like I know if you've seen her videos, I'll leave a link to her channel down below. She's also a YouTuber. She does videos on cooking and all that.
I've not posted for a year, so I don't think I still qualify as a YouTuber.
No, you are. I mean, even YouTubers or content creators need a break sometimes.
Yeah,
life
true.
happens.
It happened.
Yeah. So, but I mean, creativity is at heart. Yeah, and the love.
We'll get back.
Yeah, yeah, and one day, I don't know when, I'll go to her channel and also show my skills. I also have some skills. Okay, getting straight to the video. I actually don't even know how to start this. It's a very, well, let me just say the word, miscarriage. Miscarriage is actually a very, many women go through this, actually a very high percentage, over 1 million, by the way, because I had to read about this, over 1 million women.
They actually say 1 out of 4 women have gone through a miscarriage. So if you know 4 women, at least one has already experienced a miscarriage. It's such a sad thing.
And yet it's actually the hardest topic, the hardest thing people talk about. Like one, we find it like a taboo. We don't really talk about it here, or you don't even know what to say. That's why they advise you that don't announce your pregnancy before second trimester. Kugira ngo nyine, you know, in case anything happens, we don't want to know about it. But I feel like, one, thank you for being brave enough to share your story. And actually, a young lady reached out to me through my DM, my Instagram. If you don't follow me, please do. And she told me her story and how she watches my videos and what she's going through, the pain and everything. And I was so touched. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted it on my stories, and I got a lot of feedback. Actually, people are going through this, but they just don't know how to express it, how to go through it. And I believe in like sharing these experiences. They help somebody out there. Someone wants to know that they're not alone, like there's someone who gets them, who has gone through this, and normalizing to talk about this, because wow, it's real. It's real. You don't know this because probably people feel there's shame in even sharing that.
There's a lot of shame.
Self-blame, like you blame yourself, maybe I did something wrong. So before I rumble into a lot of things, our guest is willing to share her story. So tell us, I mean, I don't even know the right questions to ask. I don't even know what to say. Also, you teach some of us what to say to people like that, to comfort somebody who has gone through such a tragedy, because I mean, it's losing a child. So how was it for you?
Well, it happened about like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
It was really a tough time for me. I had been trying to conceive for a while. I have 2 children, like I said. So my firstborn is almost 7 years. And I mean, I went to school and I didn't have a second one. But when I was ready, it just naturally couldn't happen. So I reached out to the doctor and I didn't have an issue. I didn't have any issue, but I mean, it wasn't happening probably for more than a year. And then, of course, when it happened, I was so excited. I mean, that second line.
That you're pregnant. Mostly if you really want to.
If you really want to, it was like, wow. I was so excited and I had gained a lot of weight. I was like, I want to stay. I mean, I want to stay in shape. I started working out, really, and I mean, just preparing my body to receive this miracle.
I advise all of us, like be active, exercise,
eat well, take your prenatals. I was doing everything. I was on point. And then everything actually was okay. I was going to my checkups. And then one day I was just there and I felt something. And I started bleeding. I mean, bleeding, of course, is very alarming if you're pregnant and you see blood. You're like, okay,
what's happening?
Something is
definitely not right.
Is not right. But I had heard so many people say that they bleed when they're pregnant.
Like spotting.
Spotting. Some actually bleed. I've seen people say that they bleed. They don't even know that they're pregnant until like 3 or 4 months because they thought it was, I mean, their normal periods. So I was really hoping that is what was happening. So my husband was not at home. I called one of my uncles who was a very close neighbor, and he took me for a checkup. The doctor, I mean, had me lay on the checkup bed, and I mean, he said those words that you don't want to hear. But even before he said them, you can see the face. You can see that like his expression is something is wrong. So I was saying, what is wrong? What is wrong? I was like, how many weeks did you say you were? So I was about 12 weeks. So I was like 12 weeks, and it's like, okay, because this looks like it's about 6 weeks. So I had had what they call a miscarriage. That means you've missed, like the child stops growing, but your body doesn't register that something is. So you still have all the symptoms. If you're throwing up, you're actually throwing up. Whatever, if you're craving, whatever happens in your normal pregnancy, you feel the
pregnancy. But I feel like you're still pregnant.
Because I mean, your body just doesn't register. For some it immediately registers, but for mine it was what they call a miscarriage. And I was alone. I had entered the room alone because my husband was not around. Oh wow. It was horrible. I mean, 1,000 things went through my mind. I'm like, okay, what did I do?
Self-blame now.
Now I'm like, okay, maybe I worked out so hard. Maybe I didn't eat right. Maybe, I mean, like she said, I'm a chef, so I'm always on my feet. I'm always working. I'm always active. So I was like, maybe I overworked. I mean, 1,000 things went through my mind. So the guy asked me, okay, it has happened. How do you want to go forward?
Oh my Lord.
I'm like, okay, what are the options? So usually there are about 3 options. One, since it had started happening, since I had started bleeding, I had a choice to go home and just let it naturally happen. But they said it can take up to 4 weeks. I mean,
you're going through that for all 4 weeks.
I wasn't brave enough to take that option because I couldn't imagine having something, knowing that it's not alive. This baby is not alive and just waiting until nature takes
its
course. But the second option is something they call D&C, where they just enter into the cervix and, I mean, flush out whatever that is there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just still a fetus, sometimes it's just blood, but I mean, just getting rid of it. I mean, the doctor was very kind enough to explain to me that sometimes that actually has disadvantages. They can injure the uterus. So I was like, okay, no. So I went for the third option, which is taking medication. They give you some pills, and then you're supposed to now flush it out by those pills. My God. You don't want to think about it. I had gone through labor with my child, and it actually feels like labor.
Oh no.
I mean, some people say it didn't feel like that, but for me it felt like that.
Well, everyone's experience is definitely going to be different.
Yeah, but for me it felt like I was just through labor. But now the reason it's more painful, if you're going through labor, you're like, oh, I'm almost having my child.
It's
so
like you can see your goal ahead of you. My child is going to make this all okay and worth it.
Yeah, so I took the pills at night, like at 10, and had pain until morning.
Oh my God.
Oh man, you're cramping like bad, but now you're bleeding heavily.
So now your body is going through a lot.
A lot, and I mean emotionally you don't want to think about it. But at that point I wasn't even emotional. I was numb. Yeah, when it had just happened I was like, okay. The pain was too much that I didn't think about what the emotional bit. Yeah, so it happened until morning. I think the bleeding stopped after about 24 hours. Yeah, and yeah, that's when now the emotional bit started.
It kicks you like, wait, I don't have...
That's the worst part.
Oh, wow.
The physical you can, I mean, be patient, but the emotional bit, I mean, you heal a bit in phases.
So would you like walk us through your grieving part?
Yeah.
Like what did you do, you know? I mean for someone who is going through the same thing.
When it happened, I didn't want to keep quiet. I didn't want to be the woman that just closes herself in the house and cries with her husband. No. So I informed my immediate relatives on both our sides. We let them know because of course they knew that I was pregnant, and I let my very close friends know. So I had a support system. Yeah, so they were coming in, my aunties, my in-laws, my very close friends were coming in really for support. So
that was like the first step.
The first step into grieving. So they would come, and I mean, I'll just let them know what was going through, what I was going through my mind. And of course, because this is a new thing, everyone reacts differently. Yeah, so my reaction to some was strange. So to some it was, I think they felt like I was exaggerating the moment.
Oh no, oh please don't. No.
Yeah, because some people would be like, but you didn't know this child. Like, okay. I mean, the moment I got that second line, I already knew this child.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you just get your positive, like you are pregnant, immediately you feel like you cannot stop imagining what the baby will look like.
Yeah, you're already like, oh, will it be a girl? Will it be a boy?
Yeah, as a narcissist, like I mean, you begin bonding right away. Like it's so
especially
unfair.
If you have been really waiting for this child.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you can tell me that you didn't know the child.
Oh my God.
And some people would be like, I mean, you already have a child, so it's okay. Others would be like, you're still young.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, so most of those people, it's not ill, it's not coming from a bad place. Because this is a new thing, people go through it and they don't know what to say. They don't know how to react when they come to see you. But I'm really grateful that in the grieving time, I had a support system. And then for men, I feel like they react differently.
So before we go maybe to the main or the partners, what would you recommend? Things you just don't have to say, no matter where you're coming from. Like things just can tell a person who has been through this, because personally, of course, I don't have that experience, but sometimes you don't know what exactly to say. You're like, oh, it's okay, uzabonundi, because I might be guilty of that, and I feel very terrible. So what are they'll work differently for everybody, of course, the words, or perceived differently. So what would you recommend, or what would be your advice to, what can I say to comfort and not come off, you know?
Honestly, what you can say is just listening.
Say nothing.
So words, your listening would be the words. For me, either you don't say anything, or just pray for that person, for the believers. Just pray that God will give them comfort and give them the encouraging words. And for me, I remember one lady came, she's a very close friend, she came to visit me, and she told me something that made sense. She told me, I mean, I'm a believer, so you'll hear me say something about this, but she told me the souls go back to Christ. And one day, we'll actually be able to recognize those souls that went to Christ. Okay. So for me, it was encouraging to know that one day I'll meet my child and I'll recognize them. Oh. Yeah, I was like, oh, wow, that is powerful.
Oh, so it's deep.
It's really deep. But, I mean, anything to do with you can wait, it wasn't that deep. Anything to show the mom that that they shouldn't go through any emotions, I feel like it's not called for.
Okay. You let them grieve the way they want to
the way
grieve,
they want to grieve.
Be there for them.
Like for me, I was comfortable sharing. For some people, they want to shut up. They don't want you to come to them. They don't want you to call them. They don't want you to even say anything about the child. Let them be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it is very important that you let the person grieving lead you. Yeah. If they say they want to talk, talk. If they just ignore you and don't want to pick up your calls, don't take it personal. Yeah, because the issue is with miscarriage. Miscarriage is only considered a miscarriage up to 20 weeks. Okay. Yeah, after 20 weeks, then it's a stillbirth. So when it's a stillbirth, people recognize it.
What stillbirth?
Stillbirth is any pregnancy that stops from 20 weeks until, I mean, the child is born. So if you're 8 months, if you're 9 months and you lose a child, I mean, that is a stillbirth. But the reason it's easier, I can't concentrate.
Yeah, so Phiona, earlier you were going to talk about how it also affects the partners. Yeah, so how about that?
I think for me,
they process it differently.
Yeah, they process it differently. I feel like it is also an individual thing. Some men, I mean, are more expressive, and some men are reserved. My husband, I mean, he seems like he's out of touch of. If you don't know him, you would think that he is out of touch with his emotions, and I think for me that was hard. I felt like he was not with me. But when I told him, oh, are you really sad about this? He would tell me, if we're both sad, then who is going to give you the strength?
Yeah, the strength. Yeah.
So as much as he was grieving, he let me grieve more, because, I mean, he was selfless enough to let me grieve.
Yeah, and I feel like the moral of that story could be people grieve differently also.
Yeah.
Also, as for the partners. If they don't express the same emotions as you are,
they're not concerned. It doesn't mean that, and it is possible that a man would actually be grieving more than the woman if the woman is not expressive. So it doesn't have any formula.
Okay.
Yeah, but one thing you need to know is, I mean, they've also lost a child. So as much as you may think they are not concerned, they're with you as well. But I've heard that sometimes it can take a toll on
the marriage.
Yeah. If it's not resolved well, there could be resentment, there could be blaming. He could be blaming you that there's something that you did, or you could be blaming him that there's something that he didn't do. and yeah, it could take a toll on the marriage. So as much as you're grieving, you need to be very intentional that you don't let this
end up
affect
hurting each other as well.
Even the words you say, you could say, hey, it seems like you're not with me. Yeah, and he would feel like you're really, really, yeah. So I think that's all I could say.
On that.
I mean, I'm just sharing my experience. Probably other people have different experiences,
of course.
but for me, that was our truth.
Okay.
He was a bit distant when it came to the topic itself. Yeah, he didn't want to talk about it a lot. For me, I felt like I wanted him to talk about it every day. Every day would be, can you believe we lost a child? Can you believe we lost a child? And it's like, yeah.
That was your way of processing.
Yeah, like, for me, I felt like I wanted it to come out and be done with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say that you sharing or talking about it a lot helped you in the healing process?
For me, that was what helped me. But I also joined support groups. Which was really, really, really helpful.
Here in Rwanda?
No, it was an online, a virtual online.
Do we have one in Rwanda though?
I don't think so. So I joined some groups on Facebook where people have lost, have had miscarriages, stillbirth, infant losses. And I really like the space because now I didn't feel alone.
Okay.
I mean, miscarriage can feel like, oh, maybe it's alone, it's me alone. Because I didn't know people miscarriage that much until I went through it. Because I didn't know anyone individually that had gone through it. So yeah, support groups are very key. If you can find a support group, if you can get a friend that went through it, and anytime you feel like it, share.
Yeah.
I think you told me that you saw my post that I made on Facebook.
Yeah, you did.
I made a Facebook group, a Facebook post when I was still really into the raw emotions. Oh, wow. And I shared it, and it was very interesting that very many people found the support through that post. So many people wrote to me and said, "Oh, I actually went through this. I didn't know it was okay for me to share."
Yeah, I know, right? Like, people are going through the most, and when people don't talk about it, they fear to like be the first to. Yeah, you're like, who am I? Like,
who am I?
But when they find,
and then the judgment.
Can relate.
The judgment,
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, the judgment, I felt like, especially family members are like, okay, why are you putting all your business out there? I'm like, okay, if I had lost a 2-year-old, wouldn't I talk about it? This is a child. You know, if you're a believer, that the Bible says that I knew you before you were even a seed.
Your mom's womb, yes.
Yeah, so imagine now it's already a seed, it's already progressing. So it's the same thing. Yeah, so my family members didn't blame me, but I've heard people say that's what they felt like. People came into the DMs and
so
they're like,
would you say it's more our Rwandan culture that people don't talk about, or it's a general thing?
What I learned in those support groups is not a Rwandan thing.
Oh, okay.
It is something that
it's like a taboo.
It's a taboo. It's a taboo.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's just starting to come that women are starting to kind of opening up to talk about it. But in Rwanda, it's not common. I'll tell you, it's not common. I got to know people that I knew already that went through miscarriages. I'm like, when did you go through that? I mean, now because they knew I went through it, they started sharing. Yeah, but it's not only in Rwanda. In Rwanda, most things are taboos anyways. So this is a double taboo.
No, but we need to break those. We need to break those debugs and myths, and like you can talk about it, or no bivugaho. It's okay. I had this, so from people, and they were saying, like, if you talk about your pregnancy, okay, you talk about your pregnancy before the second trimester, or you're giving yourself bad luck. Like if you lose the pregnancy,
I mean, if you lose it, then
you've lost it.
Yeah, you've lost it.
So it limits the women to even celebrate the beginning. We're hiding our pregnancies until we're like 7-8 months, and as if it's not something to be celebrated. So like you announcing your pregnancy. How dare you?
How dare you?
But even I feel like even the doctors tell us this. Like let's wait until the first trimester?
I think the reason they say that is I don't know the percentages, but the majority of miscarriages happen in the first trimester. So they say a pregnancy is viable after a first trimester. So the doctors just want to say, okay, there's so many risks in the first trimester, let's take it slow.
Take it slow.
Yeah, so that...
Well, that also explains that there are very many who have gone through it.
Yeah, who've gone through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15% of all pregnancies end in miscarriages. Can you imagine?
15, I feel like 80%.
No, that is very exaggerated.
Well, the numbers...
Yeah, the numbers are very high, but also...
They're even saying, none will be accurate because there are those who don't come forward.
Yeah. I mean, so many people don't come forward, and some happen at home, and
so
they don't go.
Would you say there are ways you can prevent this?
No,
or it's...
no.
There you go.
Yeah, because miscarriages most of the times don't have a cause. Most of the times it's abnormalities in chromosomes, and I mean hormonal things, something that you have zero control over. Yeah, that's what is very important to remember, that as you're grieving, to know that there's nothing you would have done better to control the miscarriage from happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I applaud you for being able to actually say this. Kuko, as we've been talking about the whole experience, the common thing that comes up is people don't talk about it. Yeah. And I feel like people need to relate to somebody. As you've said, after posting that Facebook post, you're not the only person.
Yeah, I was not.
Yeah? How did that make you feel?
It made me feel less lonely. I felt like I had not a community, because a community feels like I'm celebrating this misfortune, but I felt like
they get you. You have to understand.
I could get someone. So I had those bad days where I felt like I was just, crying and crying. I could go to those same people that reached out and tell them, "Mama, and this day is horrible." And they say, "Oh yeah, I understand." Grief has stages. Whether you're grieving a loved one, for some people they first get into denial, and then anger, and then disappointment, whatever way. So I went through all those phases, and for me, knowing that I have people that understand, I have a community. When I joined that group, seeing people sharing successful stories, saying, "Oh, after 3-4 recurring miscarriages, I have a baby." It gave me hope.
Yeah, and by the way,
I had a child. Yeah, I have a 6 weeks baby boy. Yeah. So it is possible.
Yeah, she's a new mother, guys.
If you're watching this and you're going through a miscarriage, really, I would like to encourage you that it is possible to have a child. It is possible to laugh again. It's possible to, feel yourself again.
Yeah, I feel like that's all you can say.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah. That time will end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we end this video, I want to say that the purpose of doing this is to reach out to someone who is going through it. As for the young lady who reached out to me, I have not gone through it. I didn't have the right words to say to you. I went on a hunt to look for someone who will be able to speak to you from an experience, who has gone through it. And she says, talking about it, sharing it with your loved ones, the person you trust, really does help. Yeah, Nimba at 100, at least gives you a 90%, and then with time you get to heal, you get to and also have faith and hope that you will get the better days.
One thing that I wish I had known, that probably people that are watching this that have gone through it could probably testify, is that the next pregnancy is harder for you emotionally.
Because you're afraid you're gonna...
Oh my God, I was so afraid. I'd go to the bathroom, I'm like, okay, is there blood? Is there blood? Yeah. Yeah, so until I delivered, I was still scared that something could happen, because you already have trauma.
Yeah.
So if you've gone through a loss and you're scared, I understand you. I really understand. And I mean, again, if you need to talk, you can reach out.
Yeah,
you can reach out to Peace, you can reach out to me, and I hope I could be of help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it might not be for you. You might not be able to just be as
freely
vocal as me.
Yeah, the
if you feel like you want to deal with it privately, it's still okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, as long as you don't feel like you're being forced to grieve in a way that it is not coming naturally.
Like our society tells us, like, ihangane, as you had said at the beginning, you get more kids. Like, it's okay to be sad.
Yeah. I think it is very okay. If you feel like screaming, scream. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like you just want to stay in your pajamas and
eat ice cream and
but honestly, what I can say, as much as you're grieving, don't let it overstay. I mean, don't let it rob life from out of you. If it overstays, go talk to someone, a professional. Let them. I think there are people that help you with grief. I mean, talk to them. Don't let it again take away your joy, but let it live through it. Yeah. Again, I think the believer community feel like if you're grieving, then you don't have enough faith. Yeah. Okay. Like I feel like you know, if God can be able to is able to give you more children, why are you
sad?
Why are you oversight? Yeah.
Why being dramatic?
That's the word.
Urakabja. Oh no.
Yeah. So really, if you're a believer and you're watching this, be encouraging to people. Don't give them a judging attitude.
Because even believers there are believers who actually even go to God and like, God, why?
Yeah.
Now, for example, they don't believe it. Yeah. It's God's plan or whatever, but let them be. They know how to, you know, communicate with God and like get back on their future as well. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like people should be more kind, moreover, and it's a topic we should normalize. And again, it's part of life. Yeah. For those who have gone through it. Yeah. I would encourage in Rwanda for us to have maybe a support group. Yeah. As you said, the numbers are high. No one talks about it. You don't know what people are going through. Now there's the mental breakdown. Yeah. They distance themselves.
Yeah, true.
Themselves. They don't eat. They don't drink.
Yeah, because for me, it was only once, and it was really deep. But there are people that are going through reoccurring miscarriages. They're going through 4, 5 miscarriages. I mean, you can imagine what they're going through.
I know a relative who has gone through that as well. Yeah, 5 of them. But yeah, we'll go after triplets, and yeah, man. So there are better days.
There are truly better days, and sometimes there are no better days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in those support groups, usually a child that comes after a miscarriage are called rainbow babies. Oh, and the child that, like you see, a rainbow symbolizes like happiness. It symbolizes, it comes after a rain or a storm. So people usually say, my rainbow child. Oh. So my boy would be referred to as a rainbow child, and the one I lost would be referred to as an angel child. So what they say is, people shouldn't say that after all storms, there's a rainbow. Because some people actually never get to experience a child. And really, I reach out to you and say, if you never get to experience the joy of a child, still, I understand you. I know it is really difficult, but that's a reality. Sometimes it doesn't happen. As much as we would really, really wish for it to happen, a happy ending. Yeah, if your ending is not as happy, I really hope you'll get the comfort. Yeah. Yeah.
Going back on happy memories, we had to talk this over a meal, because she has a book that says Memories at the Table.
Memories at the Table.
At the table. This is our memory. We're creating memories.
You're creating memories, yeah.
Like we share that meal on set, and then yeah. So that was the whole thing, and I'm really glad you found the time.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. Like, thank you for coming after it. Just so you imagine how hard and difficult that is, but I think it also touched you, and like, wow, I would love to
I feel like it's a ministry. The Bible says that He comforts us so that in the right time we'll be able to comfort others. So I really hope that I was able to comfort someone that is watching. You might not have gone through it, but maybe you'll go through it tomorrow or another day, and you'll have something.
God forbid, but it happens.
Yeah, and you have something to look for, like art and
no kwitegura mentally, because I feel like ikintu kikubayeho wakiteguye sometimes it hurts a little bit less. I don't know if that's,
I mean, knowledge is powerful. Knowledge is powerful. Knowing that you're not alone would actually be like,
you're like, oh, okay, so this happens. It's okay. Yes, I will grieve, but I know because I feel like most of it is self-blame. Yeah, that is like the biggest. True. You began working out, and like, is it the working out? That moment you got as soon as you had the news, where your mind went at was that bad place. You were like,
maybe overworked.
It's my fault. Yeah, but no, it's not your fault. Also helps.
Yeah, it feels like my body has failed me, or I failed my body, something like that. Yeah.
Well, okay. Thank you so much for sharing. I think we shall end this video here. Wow, and I hope it reaches out to you. Share to a loved one who has gone through this that you know, or the one who's not really ready to talk about it. Let them know. And
if you want to reach out, again, Peace is available.
Follow me on Instagram. I'll leave my handle, and you can DM me. We can chat. If you want to talk, we can meet. Like, I know we don't.
Because I'm sure we haven't exhausted everything.
We actually haven't. Of course, we cannot fit everything or the whole journey in details on just on video, and to be a whole day. And just get back to the little one. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for coming on our channel. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.